What's up, everybody? This is Mr. 100K a day in the flesh. And today we're going to be talking about MaryBeth St. Price. If anybody remembers Mary Beth, yeah, I remember that she was on Raes Take a few years ago. And Ray tried to pump her up like she was a hell of a chick, which she wasn't. She never was. She wasn't. And on this episode of The Biggest Hater in Track and Field, we're going to be analyzing her career. She did not run at the Olympic trials this year. She hasn't run much lately. And I'm here to report that I'm extremely happy that she's not really competing anymore. I hope that she retired. She didn't belong to the sport to begin with. And I think it was long overdue that she move on to other endeavors. So I've never met Mary Beth, but the problem that I had was that they tried to prop her up just like they did Matt Boland, just like they do everybody else, just like they do Abby Steiner. Because Mary Beth, really, for all intent and purposes, was only good indoors. And she's only good indoors because of the real killers don't come out into outdoors. They don't. Everybody knows that. They prop these certain type of people up in situations when there is an absence of people like myself. So if you notice that the indoor world record in the 100-meter in the 60-meter dash is held by Arana Pravalova, a woman from Europe. The 200-meter indoor national record for the United States is held by Abby Steiner. The 300-meter national record is held by Abby Steiner, indoor. The 400-meter indoor record is held by who? Femke Bol. In fact, the 400-meter, the 300-meter world record is also held by, I believe, Arana Pravalova, not Marita Koch, Arana Pravalova. So what I'm saying is that in spaces where there's an absence of us, that's where these particular women show up indoors. The real dogs do not run indoors. So, like I've said, I didn't have a problem with Mary Beth. I just felt like she was doing the wrong thing. She was putting her efforts in the wrong spot in life. I didn't like, some things about her form, the way she ran, the way she was built. I felt like she was extremely, extremely uncoordinated when it came to her running style. And I know sometimes it works for 30 or 40 meters, but we all know that once the body stands up and your body positioning and where your feet are landing, when that actually starts to matter, that's when you're going to really see the the major issues come about in a person's performance. That's just how it works. So, with that being said, you know, I think that one thing that we should keep in mind is that Mary Beth, she was pretty good in high school. I do believe that she ran some pretty decent times in high school. Let's go to her world athletics profile just to get a better understanding of who she was while she was in high school and in college. She went to Oregon, then she went to Colorado State, I believe. So she bounced around a little bit and she was able to um, basically, I know she had some injury problems, but she's born in 1995, so she'll be turning 30 years old next April. So she probably got the gist of it and saw that it was over and that she had absolutely no chance to be successful. So let's go back. Let's go back to 2010. That's her first year. In 2010 was at 14 years ago. She was what, 16 years old? She ran 765 in the 60, which is good for a 16-year-old, 15, 16-year-old. Okay, in 2011, she ran 1169 in 2011. In 2011, she was 16 years old. That is a pretty good time, guy. People are advancing at the age, your body's growing. She ran 755. But if you looked at 1169, tells us a lot about who she was. And it tells us she had a horrible finish. When you run, whatever you run in the 60 for women, when you should when your 100-meter time is calculated, your PR in 100 is calculated, you know, you should be able to run the last 40 meters of your 100-meter race in approximately, I believe, 3.8 seconds. Approximately 3.8. That is a reasonable finish. So, what that tells me with her indoor time being 7:55 and her outdoor time being 11:65, that's an indication that her finish was absolutely horrible. As a matter of fact, she was around the 3 point, um, actually, that's about 4.1 actually that year. So that's extremely horrible finish. But let's go on to the next year, 2012. She ran 7:45, which is a decent time. But her 100-meter time really didn't do much better that year. That means she was finishing the last 40 meters in about 4.2 seconds, 7:45 to 11:65, which is horrible. 2013, 7:30 and 11:25. Now that's a little better, y'all. That's a little bit better. Yeah, that's about 3.95 seconds. So we see a slight improvement with her. But once again, like I said, when you're uncoordinated, your last 40 meters is going to have a lot of issues. 2014, you see 7:36 to 11:41, 11:46. Her 200-meter time is 23:91, which is absolutely horrible for a person who's supposed to be running 11 fours in the 100. That's just ridiculous. It just shows that she just really had no finish whatsoever. And I think, like I said, it's the coordination issues. 7:41 this year in 2015, then 11:65. So she may have been probably injured that year or something, because she definitely did not improve. And she did not run in 2016. So let's see, in 2017, 12, she ran 7:48 and 12:40. So yeah, that's definitely a sign that she may have been injured. So 2018, she runs 7:26 and 11:80, 11:64 wind aided. So she probably was recovering from injury. So look at 2019. Now 2019, we see a significant jump. She runs 7:18 in Boulder, Colorado, and 11:41. So she didn't improve much in the 100, but her 60 definitely improved. What you can see is actually going worse, because her finish is going went that year to basically a 4.3, 4.2, 4.3 difference between her 60-meter time and her 100-meter time. The difference in how she completes the last 40 meters of her race. And in 2020, COVID year, of course, 7:25. So we won't even count that. 21. And this is an important year because in this year is when she started to make a lot of improvements. She ran 7:12 or whatever in the indoor in Colorado, and then she also ran 11:08. Now this is a huge improvement for her, and it shows that she was definitely progressing in the Olympic year. I don't think she in 2021. Let me see how she did in 2021. Her results. How did she do at the Olympic trials when she had to go against the big girls? So at the Olympic trial, she bowed out at 11:45. So it seems like literally just a few days before the Olympic trials, she goes and runs 11:08 at Colorado, um, at the Great Center for Athletics and Community Service, the all comers meet 11:08. But then she goes and runs 11:45 at the trials. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That time, I think I should not even credit that time that year, because if we look on her profile, I mean, she seems to run fast when she's running close to home. Get away from home, she goes back to her usual self. For example, she ran at the Colorado Mines High Score Indoor Series in 2021. Of course, she wasn't in high school. She runs 7:12. Then she runs at the same, maybe even the same venue, it seems like, or a close venue, Colorado Springs or Golden, Colorado. She runs a bunch of 7:1s, but then when she gets away from it, goes to Arkansas, she runs 7:2. Kind of funny, kind of weird. Then in 2021, she basically runs 11:5s all year, 11:3, 11:7, 11:4, 11:5, 11:3. But then when her last opportunity to qualify for the Olympic trials comes around, they give her 11:08 with 1.6 win. Okay. But then she goes to the Olympic trials where she's going to have to meet real timers and no manipulation of the clock. And all of a sudden, she runs 11:45. And she bows out in the first round and ends her season. So I think that's telling. That's definitely telling. So let's just continue. Let's go to 2022. And I think this was a breakout year for her, because what she did in 2022 definitely showed that she was on the road to a lot of improvement. So in 2022, she opens in Colorado, that same venue that she always runs fast at. This is her altitude. 7:11, 7:11. That's Lubbock, and I think that's altitude also. And then Lubbock again, 7:08. And then Boulder at 7:14. She goes now. The breakout was when she went to the Tyson Invitational Arkansas, which is at sea level, and that's when she runs 7:06. So she runs a lot of 7:0s. She learns a lot of 7:0s. The problem for her is the best people in track and field don't run indoor track. They don't run indoor track. They don't run indoor track at all. So with them not running indoor track, I feel like the 7:0s give some of these women an inflated sense of value when they really don't have any in track and field. 7:0 is not a fast time. When we tell you why, is because outdoors, which is where track and field is really run at, if you come through in 7:0, then you're probably not going to win that race unless you have a monstrous finish. I think the big girls, they're easily coming through outdoors in 6.9s. Some of them are coming through in 6.8s, high 6.8s or mid 6.8s. So I think that these 7:0s probably gave her inflated self sense of confidence that she probably did not deserve, but it still shows progression nonetheless. And she started the outdoor season with 11.2s, ran a couple 11.3s, and then she goes to Nashville, and all of a sudden she has a huge drop. She runs to the 10.9s, and she runs it twice. I think though, and that was one of those American Track League events, and I think that American Track League, I don't know if they tamper with the clock, give people great times for just so they can boost their stats and things like that. I was believing it, but then when she went to the USATF National Championships in 2022, and she ran 10.99, I felt like that solidified what she was actually doing and showed that she was actually capable of running sub 11 seconds. But of course, that's at Eugene, Oregon with Eugene Magic, and it seems like every person who fits her profile runs fast there. So, you know, that's what it is. But she didn't make it to the finals. She made it to the semifinals, and she got smoked. And she ran 11:01. But like I said, when you got to go against the big girls, all the indoor stuff goes out of the window. And she ran 23:62 outdoors, which, like I said, she doesn't have a finish. 23. Now, people thought, oh, no, that's when she went on Raes Take. That's what bothered me about this, because now she pops up on Raes Take. Ray wants to interview her. Ray wants to talk to her, make her think like she's a hell of a chick when she never was. And I'm being clear about that. She never was a hell of a chick. Ray did this interview, or this interview was published on his site on January 24th, 2022. So he did this actually after indoors, before outdoor season. But I still feel like uh, it was significant, because I feel like she had inflated sense of confidence where she didn't deserve. She didn't have any confidence yet, because she had not accomplished anything. So that was 2022. 2023 comes around, boom, 7:11. She opens up 7:09 at nationals. She gets second, and for some reason, after getting second at indoor nationals in 2023, I don't know if they had world. Oh, she did go to world indoors. She got third. No, I'm sorry. World Athletics Indoor Tour. I thought it was a World Indoors last year, but apparently it wasn't. And if she got second, for some reason she didn't show up at World Indoors. Maybe they didn't have it. Maybe it was canceled. Who knows? But she got second, 7:09, which is her usual. She goes outdoors, only runs a few times. Maybe it was an injury. 11:16. She runs in Bermuda with a 2.0 win. But after that, it goes straight downhill. 11:48, 11:29 into a negative win at the national championships. Gets sixth in her heat. Now, I think that would probably happen. Oh, yeah, and she ran a relay early that year at the Mount Sac Relays. So after that, she hasn't ran anything in 2024. I don't know if she's injured. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't care really to know. I'm just happy that she stopped competing and she moved on with her life. So maybe she got the picture that she doesn't belong in the sport, which is okay, because not everybody is designed to be fast. It's not about that. Life is about multiplying and being fruitful. So, her moving on with her life is definitely a great thing. And it gives her opportunity to do something that, she's probably put on earth to do, instead of running track and trying to chase a dream that would never materialize, especially running the times. And when she's running, like I said, she never had a finish. And that's really what, uh, is really probably a lot of what the problem is. She couldn't finish a race. She only, if you look at any of her, really her highlights, even on her Instagram page, which this is, you see her running indoors. She's practicing literally in school hallways, and it's really embarrassing for her to be doing this. Look, she's literally practicing in a school hallway. So it's like, really like a thing where people should just take note of this and just see that she's probabprobably not even training the right way. She probably should have been training with a group. She should have went and trained with Shakari, hooked up with somebody, and just said, "Hey, I'm gonna go and get away from my husband." Because I feel like her being married, not and I think she should have been aware of this, that her being married was going to be an inhibitor for her being successful. It's definitely an inhibitor for sprinters. But a lot of these types of people do not have what I call social intelligence. So a lot of time they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the impact of decisions they make in their own lives, or how their decisions affect other people, and how their decisions affect themselves. So they'll continue doing the same thing, of expecting a different result, and they'll get nowhere. And which is what we see. We see it nationally, we see it globally, we see it worldwide when these people are in charge of anything, including of their lives. So, as I said before, I think that, she's always had this like little frame. She wasn't, ever very tall, wasn't very muscular. She was like dynamite, but in small packages. But the only thing about it was that she, can only use that for like 40 meters. And when you see her even doing drills, you don't really see her doing any over distance training. You see her doing drills, 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 and like really short like sprints and bounds and plyometrics. That's what she's doing all day. You'll never see her run no 250s to help on her speed endurance. You don't see her do any of that. So hopefully, I believe she started a training group now with like little kids, teaching them how to get fast. And I believe it's probably more lucrative for her. She can, use her card, her resume, and use that to motivate and work with other people and other parents to help improve their speed, or the parents' kids' speed. And I think that would probably be something that's much more lucrative for, because I don't even think she ever even got sponsored running the times that when she was running, which is good, because I feel like her being sponsored would have been an absolute joke, and an absolute slap in the face to the many other athletes, the many other people who are in track and field, who perform a lot better than her. And she really had nothing going for herself other than a couple indoor performances in which the real runners weren't showing up. If you look at the way she runs, even in slow motion, she's extremely uncoordinated. She's flailing her arms. Reminds me a lot of Anna Hall. She's all over the place, and I feel like that's a bad thing for her. Her stride length is very short. Is only conducive to, good acceleration, and that only works indoors, because we all know that really good 100-meter running outdoors. Um, look how she even comes out of the blocks. Really good 100-meter running outdoors is mostly about powerful acceleration between 30 and 70 meters, and then speed maintenance, not getting out of the blocks, running as hard as you can, then get walked down, which is exactly what was happening to her. So, and it's crazy, because even in outdoors, she was never leading any races against any real competition at 60 meters. So that was very telling, extremely telling. So yeah, she's an indoor runner, and it's great to see that she's out of the sport. And I'm really disappointed at guys like Ray, because he promoted this chick, made her feel like she was a hell of a thing, that she really had a chance in the sport when she really didn't. She really did. I think it was great that she moved on, got a chance to go focus on being a wife, and train some kids, and just move on with her life and do what people like her are put on earth to do, and get out of the sport. And I'm happy she's out of the sport. So Ray, I feel like he was wrong for even promoting this chick when she really had accomplished nothing, and she was really just a mediocre sprinter at best. So anyway, this is another episode of The Biggest Hater in Track and Field. We just reviewed MaryBeth St. Price, and and I'm happy I did, because I hope this calls attention to sometimes the overvaluation of these types of people, and we want them out of the sport. We want her completely out of the sport. You guys take care. Peace.